In a sport where more and more importance is given to athletic ability and pure muscle, there is a quality that I want to claim today: intelligence in basketball. But how is intelligence measured on the pitch? And who are the NBA players with the highest basketball IQ? Let's go step by step in this video, so make sure that you stick with me to the end. Now, without any further delay, let's get into the video. Starting with, how important is an intelligent player in the NBA? Basketball is a sport for smart people, and there are cases of players with very limited athletic abilities who have been true superstars of this sport. The great Larry Bird, who did not run quickly, comes to mind. He didn't even jump and was able to dominate the game like very few others just because of how quickly he was able to make the right decisions on a court. Returning to the initial question and transferring it to one of the ways of measuring human intelligence is through the controversial intelligence test that refers to the intelligence quotient, or IQ for short. This is a term that determines the way of interpreting the game from the player's own knowledge, where he knows how to make the most of his qualities, that of his teammates, and his own team, based also on the tactical strengths and weaknesses of the opposing team's attack and pre-clear reading of his defense at all times. With this term of IQ, we can explain that an intelligent player can be as important as being a player who dominates by his physique. Most of us agree that IQ refers to a basketball player's ability to read the game and make decisions based on their understanding of it. I think it's almost a no-brainer that players with high basketball IQ interpret and play the game the right way and make very few mistakes. But wait, is a great basketball IQ a gift, or can it be developed? Well, applied to basketball, training is essential to enhance the basketball IQ, and that's based on listening and learning from all the coaches and trainers that the player has. Vital in childhood and adolescence because they're one of the greatest sources of knowledge you can have in any sport. When you think quickly and can strategically think about what your team and the opponent is doing, and it's that basketball is a sport of electrical actions and requires that players can make good, quick decisions. That's why players with this high level of intelligence are so confident in what they do. They anticipate many variants of what can happen on a court before the rest of the mortals. So, who are these NBA players with the highest basketball IQ? The first on the list is Larry Bird. He was never the strongest, fastest, or jumpiest on the court, but he was the smartest and deadliest when his team needed him most. Bird had an incredible vision to see his teammates unmarked, and despite his height, was an incredible passer and handled the ball better than or equal to any point guard in the league, winning championships in 1981, 1984, and 1986. He handled both hands perfectly for the game, and even insisted one day on scoring with only his left, and he succeeded. What a bloody genius. What about Kobe Bryant? The case of Kobe Bryant is very clear. Kobe started out as an athlete who dunked on everyone he saw. As he got older, though, he realized that his knees no longer let him do that. Since he had to be the best because of his drive, he decided to add a deadly fadeaway to his moves and work on his footwork. Because of this, he's one of the most technically sound players in the game, which is why he was one of the top 10 players for so long. Next on the list is LeBron James. LeBron James is already one of the greatest of all time, with a physique that has dominated the game. Although he still has a privileged physique, he's known to evolve exquisitely in reading and vision of the game, using his great intelligence to get any advantage because at 36 years of age, you cannot live only on the physique in a jungle where muscle prevails, young man. He is very, very smart and feels the game. He can see everything. I don't know if it's because he's tall or because he's so smart, or because he's played so much basketball that he's taken so many mental pictures during his career that he just gets it. He sees it, and that's an incredible quality. In this way, he's become one of the best current passers. Next player on the list is Jason Kidd. Rick Carlisle was more than clear that Jason Kidd has been the most intelligent of all those who have entered his locker room. No one approaches him. The guy was a wise man on a basketball court. Jason Kidd read and played the game like few others. He's a Hall of Famer who won the Rookie of the Year award in the 1994 NBA season while playing for the Dallas Mavericks. He was an all-star in his second season. His illustrious mind to play basketball has allowed him to be second on the NBA's all-time list of assists. Crazy, right? Another player with a high IQ is Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, the new disciple of the great Jason Kidd in the Mavericks, is one of the greatest bastions of intelligence applied to the game. Without being particularly fast nor jumpy, he's excelled greatly in all training categories until dominating the EuroLeague with Madrid and bursting into the NBA like a cyclone. cyclone, already being one of the best. A pretty clear mind for this. Next up, Ricky Rubio. Although he's an underrated player in the NBA and he's dominant in FIBA as he's already shown with the Spanish team, it is evident that Ricky is one of the smartest in the class. Ricky Rubio is a player who makes his teammates better, and that's key to defining a privileged basketball IQ. He reads defenses like few others, assists where nobody expects, makes few wrong decisions, he helps and trains his younger companions. Let's talk about Dwyane Wade. It's always scary when a really good athlete also knows a lot about basketball. Dwyane Wade has been one of the best players in the league for a long time. He's a great athlete and really knows how the game works. He thinks his way past the defense and uses his athletic skills to finish at the rim or make it look like he's floating through the air, only to throw a pass to an open shooter at the last second. He's always a threat to the defense because he can see the court well, pass the ball, and score. Next up, we have Chris Paul. Paul is good on both ends of the court, and he uses his intelligence to get the best of his opponents. He's a great athlete, but he won't ever be able to dunk over anyone. Instead, he chooses to get what he wants by using a dangerous step-back jumper and a great crossover. He's good at every part of the game because he has great court vision and can tell what his opponents are going to do next. How familiar are you with Tim Duncan? Tim Duncan is one of the most obvious players on the list. Duncan has played the same way since he joined the league. He's one of the most patient players on the court. He never makes things happen on his own. Instead, he waits for something to happen, like a hole in the defense. He uses mismatches to his advantage, and if a team sleeps on him, he will score. A legendary player who is often called the best power forward ever. What about Paul Pierce? Pierce was never a great athlete, so he always had to rely on his awareness and skill to get the job done. Even though he couldn't jump very high, it's clear that it didn't hold him back, because he went on to have a very steady career. He's been an important part of the Celtics for a long time, and he'll be remembered as one of the best players the team has ever had. Pierce is an example of a player who was willing to spend a lot of time in the film room to make up for his lack of athletic ability. Wrapping it up, we have Magic Johnson. I had to leave him for last as an example of an extremely intelligent player. For me, he's the best point guard of all time, the total player. He was attached to all 5 positions and could do what was required perfectly in each of them. Virtually no one has managed to dominate as many games and as important as Magic. He was almost always well surrounded, but he managed to make the pieces fit and that each player gave the maximum of possibilities. In his frequent moments of inspiration, the point guard was a true creative Gale, a winner in artist's guise, a privileged mind to play basketball. So that concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. Also, do let me know in the comments section who your all-time favorite NBA player is. Thanks for watching.